Welcome to Raveum Insights. In a world that feels more and more borderless, have you ever stopped to think about where your wealth truly lives? For centuries, wealth was tied to a physical place, right? A single postcode. But that's all changing. Today, we're exploring a really fundamental shift in how we build and protect our financial future. That question really gets to the heart of a new reality for anyone thinking about their financial future. It's this big move away from simply being where your money is to strategically placing your money where it can actually thrive. It's all about having your assets work for you, around the clock, totally independent of where you happen to be in the world. Okay, so what does this new era of wealth actually look like? Well, the old rules are pretty much being torn up and rewritten, mostly thanks to technology and this new kind of global mobility. Really, it's all about one thing: achieving financial agility. And when you put them side by side, the contrast between the old and new models of wealth is just stark. We're moving from this static, kind of localized approach to one that's truly global and agile. The whole focus is shifting from just owning stuff to having access to opportunities and, crucially, the freedom to move your capital where it's treated best. This all brings us to what's long been considered the cornerstone of wealth, right? Real estate. But here's the thing. In this new global landscape, the traditional path to owning property, well, it can be a real double-edged sword. It can create these traps that lock up your capital just when you need to be the most nimble. Just think about it for a second. Traditional property ownership, it demands a massive upfront investment. All of a sudden, your wealth is completely tethered to the fortunes of a single city or even a single neighborhood. And trying to get your money out, that can be a slow and, honestly, a painful process. It's just a totally static approach in a world that is screaming for diversification. So this raises a really crucial question, doesn't it? If traditional ownership has all these limitations, what's the alternative? It's pretty clear there's a need for a way to get access to high-quality, income-producing assets without all those traditional roadblocks. And, that need is exactly what has spurred the development of a whole new approach to property investing. And the solution is a model that fundamentally changes how we think about property. It's not just about a place to live anymore. It's about looking at property as an asset class, one that can generate income for you no matter where you are in the world. This is the core idea of what's called fractional ownership. The easiest way to think about it? It's kind of like buying shares in a company. But instead of a company, you're buying a real, legal piece of a specific property. It just completely breaks down that old all-or-nothing barrier to real estate, and it allows a bunch of investors to share in the ownership, the costs, and of course, the potential returns. Now, it's absolutely essential to understand what this isn't. This is not a timeshare, and it's not some speculative crypto token, okay? With a timeshare, you're basically just buying the right to use a property for a week or two. With fractional ownership, you own a piece of the property itself. We're talking about real equity in a tangible physical asset, one that can generate income and hopefully appreciate in value. All right, so how does this actually work in the real world? To really get a handle on the mechanics, let's use a platform that's built specifically for this model as a kind of case study. We're going to look at Raveum to see exactly how this is being put into practice and how it provides compliant global participation in U.S. assets. Seed platforms like Raveum were basically designed to answer one simple question: what if owning international real estate could be as straightforward as, say, buying a stock? The whole idea is to bridge that gap between the rock-solid security of physical assets and the sheer convenience of a modern digital platform. The process is usually broken down into three really key stages. First, you've got to identify and vet high-quality properties. We're talking institutional-grade stuff. Second, you set up a super secure legal framework. This often means placing each property into its very own U.S. company, an LLC. And finally, the best part, distributing the returns to investors, which is typically done in U.S. dollars. The absolute foundation of this entire model is a relentless focus on compliance. By operating within established regulatory frameworks, think things like SEC Regulation D and Regulation S, and by using regulated U.S. banking systems, these platforms can offer a truly secure and transparent investment experience. And it's all backed by the strength of U.S. property rights. And this is where the model becomes genuinely accessible to almost everyone. By lowering the investment minimum to something like, say, $100, that enormous capital barrier of traditional real estate is, well, it's pretty much gone. It just opens up a world of opportunities that were previously way out of reach for so many investors. Okay, let's bring all this together. What is the real-world impact for a global investor, someone who's looking to build a resilient and truly diversified portfolio? Let's get right down to it. What does this all mean for you? Well, a huge draw for this model is getting access to the U.S. real estate market. We're talking about one of the largest and most transparent property markets in the entire world. Its stability is backed by incredibly strong demand and a legal system that provides some seriously robust protection for property owners. So let's talk tangible benefits. What's in it for an investor? Well, for starters, it's the ability to earn passive income in a stable currency, like the US dollar. It's about hedging against inflation back in your home country and truly diversifying your portfolio with assets that, until recently, were only available to huge institutions. The bottom line is this: you can live where you want while your wealth works for you on a global scale. And that right there is the real shift in thinking. The goal isn't just to accumulate more and more stuff, more assets. It's about strategically participating in global markets. It's about building a much more resilient financial future by owning better, more productive assets. The whole mission behind this new approach is to make global real estate investing more accessible and more secure, opening it up to a much wider range of people. It really is about reimagining how the world invests in real estate. So, if you're interested in exploring this a bit more and seeing how it actually works in practice, we definitely encourage you to visit www.ravedom.com. You can find way more information and see the kinds of opportunities that are currently available. We're going to keep exploring the future of global investing and fractional ownership right here. So be sure to follow us for more insights. Thanks so much for joining us on Raveum Insights, and until next time, really think about it. Where is your wealth living?